This is the city of Calgary, a home to more than 1.6 million Canadians. Also called the sunniest city in Canada, it is renowned for its vibrant arts and music community, outdoor opportunities, and entertainment options. But these dynamic and lively experiences aren't equally accessible to all. There are many people who are abandoned in the shadows of the city, in desperate need of help.
I moved out here to Calgary back in 2003 to find work. I found work. I maintained work for well up to probably the last 3 to 4 years.
Right.
And then it's become very much a struggle
Yeah.
to find work based on my credentials. Work situation has changed. It's not as easy to get a job now. Newspapers and everyone else says, oh, there's lots of work, but the employers are not hiring. So it's a struggle, and because I'm not really working, it's, I can't really be able to afford a place. I think they need to really get in touch with the programs that they're starting now and really not just glacierize it, as in they're just starting. This affordable housing that we've just started to convert the office towers here in the city. There's a couple there supposedly that in the next couple of years are going to be fully converting over. I think that the red tape in here and other cities around the country really need to look at their zoning issues and look at the problem as a whole and go, we need to really fix this. And, remove that red tape and let the homeless have a home, right? Because once you have a home, you feel better, and the sense that you can move away from things that may not be healthy for yourself, because you have that base of operations to go to those programs, to be able to go to sleep every night. That affordable housing, that conversion of buildings is the right step. We're not moving quick enough, especially with the government, to go to the province and say, look, go to the cities, change the zoning, make it possible. And I guarantee you there probably will be some ups and downs, but there will be progress forward.
Hi, my name's Greg, and I'm a war veteran. I was a member of the Canadian Navy. The most memorable time, I'd say, was baking pound cakes and donuts for my fellow comrades. I enjoyed this process so much that I worked as a baker at Tim Hortons for a few years after my time at the Navy. Oh, the transition from the life at the Navy to the normal life, if you know what I mean, was hard. Things were different, and I also had the traumatic stress disorder, I think that's what it's called. That made things even worse. My wife left me, and I was fired from multiple jobs. Life was hard, and nothing was affordable. That's when I started living on the streets. Well, getting a place, getting a roof over my head. Feel like this country has completely forgotten about me. I want you to know that the freedom you enjoy and the opportunities that you get is because of veterans like me who devoted their lives to protect this country. All I want is to be happy.
Calgary's housing crisis is real. According to the 2022 Calgary Point in Time Count report released by the Calgary Homeless Foundation, more than 2,800 residents in Calgary today do not have a permanent home to stay in. There are many reasons that contribute to the housing affordability crisis, but insufficient supply of housing in relation to the increasing demand is one of the key underlying reasons. We interviewed Chaz Smith, the CEO of the BeTheChangeYYC, to hear more about the current housing crisis in Calgary.
My name's Chaz Smith. I'm the CEO and founder of BeTheChangeYYC. So I started this program almost 8 years ago after I had experienced homelessness in 2005 to 2008. In 2015, a group of friends and I, we just saw a need and, no one really walking the streets, connecting with our unhoused population. So we just started with sandwiches and juice boxes, and here we are 8 years later with nurses, paramedics, social workers providing access to essentials of life, and then program referrals to help folks on their journey out of homelessness. Yeah, so what we're seeing currently is lots of inflation. For every $1 spent, it's about $1.75 in debt that on average our GDP looks like right now. Previously, we knew that 50% of Albertans were living paycheck to paycheck. So sadly, many folks are at risk of becoming homeless. Yeah, and what we're really experiencing here is a housing emergency. So in all of the G7 nations, Canada has the least amount of housing infrastructure just in existence. Alberta is one of the last provinces in Canada that has the lowest amount of housing per capita. To give you an idea, that's 400 units per 1,000 per capita. So ultimately, this is a housing emergency because we don't have the infrastructure of homes. There's not enough homes for everyone to even be able to purchase, to live in, to rent. And so we are in a market that you can sell houses for a lot more money, and it's just because we don't have the housing that folks want and need. So I think when we are on the outside, when we look in, we see the mental health, some of the substance abuse, and you think that that's why people are there. And I would say that whether you use substances before, how long can you live in this state of desperately looking for food and water and shelter every day, day in, day out, before you have to start using substances to self-medicate the real trauma of having to experience homelessness? Yeah, I think one of the most staggering numbers I've heard was the most recent study from the University of Calgary, that $87,000 on average is how much we pay in taxes for one person to be maintained in homelessness. $87,000 per person on average to maintain one person in homelessness. So we truly can give people housing and the supports they need for something closer to $30,000. So obviously, a lot of money is being thrown at this problem, but the solution is ultimately housing, which we overall in Canada are lacking. I think we should all care because, these are someone's mothers, their brothers, their sisters, their cousins. These are human beings. They deserve a quality of life. And our taxes are being used in a large quantity in a way that is not providing the services that I think taxpayers think that we have. For $30,000, we can provide housing and supports, and people can be well, get healthy. They can go back to work if they want, go back to school, and be part of contributing again. And so this affects all of us.
We had the opportunity to speak with Virginia, a dedicated volunteer at the BeTheChangeYYC, who offered valuable insights into the challenges faced by those affected by the housing crisis.
You don't see something, then you don't know there's a problem. And even I, who've lived here all my life, didn't notice the homeless as much as last year when I was riding my bike along the rivers all the time, the rivers, the canals, and noticed more and more homeless encampments, right? They're just everywhere. It's the most I've ever seen. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to live here. You can't afford the rents without having a permanent address. You can't get help. So you end up on the streets, and they say, 2.5 year waiting list to get a place to live. Well, for me, it's a tiny little way of kind of giving back a little. I actually left home when I was 16 in Calgary, so I couch surfed, which is basically homeless, only I had couches to go sleep on. And even I couldn't get any help. I couldn't get any assistance. I tried from social services and that, but I couldn't get any help. So I kind of appreciate how you can be stuck in that situation through no fault of your own.
Housing and a job that I can afford the housing.
And we have many thousands of folks on the housing list that check in, at least every 2 weeks. And the sad reality is many folks will wait many months and even years. And this all goes back to the systemic issue that we just don't have the housing. We don't have that basic human need and not enough of it. And so it is definitely a commodity now where people have to fight and truly advocate. They can't give up. And it's important to empower folks because it can be traumatic experiencing homelessness, but reminding folks that they have power and to not give up because the system is overloaded. But as soon as you give up, that's when things go wrong. So just don't give up. Keep advocating for yourself and believe in yourself.
What is the one word you associate with the word homelessness?
Trauma.
Social inequity.
Lack of political will.
Change.
These little things, of course, add up and change will happen. I mean, it's not quick, it's not lightning fast, but if we start these initiatives now, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, Canada will be in a better spot to be able to help everybody and even the current immigrants that are coming in and fleeing from other countries.
So, how about you?